Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 291.
Whoop!
What is that you say? That's right. We are edging ever closer.
Oh, we're edging, all right.
Yeah, fisting. I meant to say inching and I said edging, so obviously my head is somewhere else. Yeah, but we're getting closer and closer to that big 300. And you know what that means.
Nothing.
Tonight we dine in hell, ? As you know, this is your favorite Star Trek podcast. My name is Caitlin, and I'm joined today by...
Jake.
Chris.
And Ames.
However, before we get to your regularly scheduled programming, we have super belated holiday gift exchange time.
This will probably be the latest we've ever done it, because...
Yeah, we kept getting sick and having to reschedule things.
Yeah, this is our first time in the same room in ages.
I had no idea Jake even got you guys gifts. I was ready to just be the loser friend who just takes your gifts.
Wow, Jake, you did this? You're so kind. Thank you. And you too. But we
I
love
did
you
not.
both.
I don't even know what
She
they
doesn't even know what they are.
Do you know whose bag is whose? Because I know.
I won't
Yes, that's Jake's.
Okay.
And that one's for Ames.
Yay.
Okay, and then this one says Chris on it.
Ooh.
Thank you, Jake.
This one says Caitlin. And
Ooh.
Ames has one too.
Why?
Because they're kind of all the same thing, and I didn't want to give you that one separately, so you'd be surprised when they got those.
Oh,
So very
wow.
belated Christmas gift for Ames.
Yay.
And also, I mean, part of the reason it's good that we're doing this now is that you'll see when you open them, but these products had to be shipped from overseas, and they just arrived this week.
Oh,
Wow.
well, this all worked
that
out.
is good timing.
Thank you.
And they have a giant spoiler for Relativity in them.
Oh, good.
They do.
Is it 7 of 9?
All right, we
I
can do
want-
these one at a time.
I want Jake to go first, because I forgot what we got him.
Okay. Let's see. It's a box.
Oh.
Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoy your box.
It is a 3D lamp illusion. I don't know what that
I
means.
think it sounds... This probably also came from overseas, if you can't tell, but...
I don't know what it is.
It's an illusion. It's a lamp.
Oh, it's one of those
It's
things.
an illusion lamp.
Oh, I see what it is. It's a lamp.
Yeah,
It's
one
an
of
illusion
those.
as well.
It's one of those little,
I don't know if
light
it
up
needs
plastic
does it
panel
need to be
things.
charged up. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think my dad has this.
Oh, whoops.
Very
No. That's cool because I always thought it was really cool. You got to peel it back.
I was gonna
off
say, you
of
might
it.
have to take
Yeah,
the backing
yeah.
off of it
But
first.
it is a
yeah.
like a plastic. What's this stuff usually called?
Oh, God.
Acrylic?
Acrylic.
There
thank
we
you.
go.
Yeah, like acrylic enterprise lamp that when it's set up, which I'll try to do in a moment.
Oh, you know what? It looks like it actually, it does need to be charged. There's like a charging slot on
Yeah,
the
there's
back.
a battery.
You could probably just, or it could probably just
I
run off the
I can
mains.
plug it in over there.
Yeah.
Run off the mains, governor.
Yeah, Jesus. I'm the worst.
All right, well, let's proceed.
Yes,
I will try to get this thing.
Shall
turned
we
on.
all do our...
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we all do this
Identity
together?
gift?
I mean, they're some. Okay, yeah, you can do them
They
together.
fit
Are
together.
we ready?
Yes. You're like a Power
yeah, well,
Ranger.
I'll form the head. Ah!
Oh, dang it.
It's Deep Space Nine!
Oh,
What is
nice.
it? Is blue bricks like Lego bricks, but not?
These are knockoff German Legos that do, but they apparently are the company that has the official license to produce Star Trek.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because these are
Lego
not...
sets.
These are like...
Yeah,
like
that's why you don't see them as
I've got
Legos.
Benjamin Sisko's face on my box and everything.
Oh, do I have a Janeway? I don't.
Oh, yes, Ames has a Voyager, and I have the Klingon Katinga battle cruiser.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
Which, yeah, I was like, oh, wow, look at that. But yeah,
thanks.
it's got the Star Trek
Jane.
universe logo.
Okay,
Thank you.
I had
This
to
is
get
delightful.
these sent from Germany.
Wow.
That's cool.
Very nice.
Deutschland.
Yeah, more like.
Enjoy that fully, listeners. That's a good Voyager.
Yeah, look at him.
That's good.
Yeah, I have no idea the build quality of these, or if, like.
Well, but surely if Star Trek, if they have the license.
Oh,
it can't
shit,
just
it even
be
has a
shit,
stand.
I would think. Yeah, I know. I was just admiring that also. Even it says with a name placard and all. Star Trek Deep Space
name
Nine.
Picard.
Ha!
Oh, and this, wow, yeah, this one's actually from last year.
You know what sucks? I
Yeah,
want to
they're-
build it right now. I have to do this. This is not made for... Nicht geeignet für Kinder unter 3 Jahren. Kleinteile, Erstickungsgefahren. I think that means don't give it to children under 3 There are small pieces and
we'll kill them
stickers,
dead.
I think.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
Stickungskafar, I would say means like something about
That's nice.
stickers. That's nice. What? His gift that we got for him? I do all the shopping. All the Christmas shopping is done by me.
She runs things by me, and I go, "Yeah, that sounds good."
I'm gonna open
Ames
this
is
one.
up.
Open it, Ames.
I'm opening it. First, there's a little Borg queen. Oh,
Aww.
she is an itty bitty, and she's very cute, and she's got her little head shit going on. Aww.
I bought that for you so long ago, and I've just been, like, at one point, it was just in my room, and Chris was like, have you claimed her for your own? I was like, no, I just want to keep her where I know where she is.
She will get away and assimilate someone.
I kind of love the little deadpan expression. Like, she looks less like Borg Queen plotting and more like her personal assistant drone just gave her some bad news about the quarterly reports.
Oh no. Borg Queen accepting 7 of 9 has gotten away. And there's a book, Star Trek 9, adapted by James Blish. 6 thrilling tales from the award-winning television series created by Gene Roddenberry.
You know, is it just novelizations of actual extant
as far as I
episodes?
can tell, yeah, they just adapted TOS episodes. I don't know how old the book is. Looks
Old.
pretty old.
Explore the outer reaches of the Enterprise and her crew as they exchange bodies with an alien intelligence.
Oh, shit.
Engage in deadly war games. Pursue a vaporous creature to a desolate planet. And probe a fearsome zone of darkness that threatens to destroy them all.
Oh, so what was that? Obsession?
Probably Obsession.
Gamers of Triskelion?
No,
or
the
something?
War Games one is probably the Ultimate Computer.
Ah.
And the other one was probably, might have been the Orb people there.
Oh yeah, there's a content. So it's Return to Tomorrow, great, one of my favorites. Ultimate Computer, That Which Survives, Obsession, Return to the Archons, and the Immunity Syndrome.
Nice.
That doesn't sound like 9 stories. Sounds like 6.
Yeah, why is it called Star Trek 9?
I
why is it
assume
called Star Trek
I assume
9?
it was a series of
Yeah,
books.
oh, that's probably a good point. Yeah.
So this was probably the 9th one they put out.
Oh. Because I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah,
The
I
math
assume
is not adding up here.
it was the only one I saw in the shop.
Yes,
but
other
yeah.
Bantam books. Spock Must Die, Star Trek 1, Star Trek 2, Star Trek 3, etc. Down to Star Trek 11.
Wait, but it also says Star Trek 9.
Yeah, they would
Must be a second printing, maybe.
they do that a lot, like especially with old Star Trek books. I remember they would have like the Star Trek books I would get as a kid, like they would often have like also from pocket books, and it was clearly just a generic list they put
they
in
just
every,
use it for every one of them.
and it was
yeah.
like yes, I know that one is also from you because this is the one I'm holding. Yes, happy very belated Christmas because when's this going up? Sometime in February.
Happy Michaelmas.
Yep. Pretty sure.
Nice. Well, I see it's time
I
travel.
can't wait. I would build it
That's
right
right.
now.
That's the theme of the week.
We actually recorded this on December 24th. Totally. No, really.
Yep. Santa's coming tonight.
We might have to pause the episode to shoo away carolers demanding figgy pudding.
Mm-hmm. They do love that figgy pudding.
Fuckers. But first...
You mean instead of playing with my blue bricks, I have to talk about episodes?
Mm-hmm. What are they?
Well, this
we
week...
haven't even discussed yet.
We haven't. Back to our regularly scheduled program. As you've come to expect, we will be discussing 2 episodes of Star Trek The Voyager. Season 5, Episode 23, 1159, and Episode 24 of the same season, Relativity. 1159. It's Janeway meet cute. Basically, that's the whole story. Janeway, okay, fine. There's an A plot and a B plot. The A plot is Janeway is like, I am really excited about my background. Let me tell you about how the progenitor of my family was a big shot who worked on the Millennium Gate, and that's why I'm, a Starfleet captain, because I was inspired. And then it turns out that what she thought was true wasn't exactly true, but then it turns out that what she finds out isn't true actually was even not more true, but was still inspiring. And it ultimately doesn't matter because it's not the journey that matters, but the destination. No, wait, the other way around. Either way, we have Captain Janeway because of her belief.
It's the Voyager we made along the way.
Exactly. And
I like it.
The important thing is that Janeway became a captain because she was inspired. And who was she inspired by? Well, Janeway was inspired by Shannon O'Donnell, who is, when we first meet her, is down and out, no job, her car sucks, she rear ends somebody, who is actually super cool about it, just is like, alright, well, fine.
My car looks better like this.
Yeah, actually, I kind of like the dent.
His car's kind of a shitbox.
She breaks down in Portage Creek, Indiana, where they're building the Millennium Gate, and she meets the world's most boring shut-in, Henry Janeway, who owns a bookstore and hates the future and computers
and the present.
Leaving his house and likes to say shit like,
I I wish I were a gladiator.
By Grabthard's hammer. What a savings. My dude,
then I'd respect him.
I know. My dude is an angry, xenophobe, not Anglophile. What's it called when you don't want to leave your house? What's that called?
Agoraphobe?
That's it. Agoraphobe. Kinda.
Yeah, I can see the kind of where you got Anglophile in there. Got some of the letters.
I don't get xenophobe, though. He hates aliens?
Yep, he does now.
Or just he hates...
No, I mean, he hates change and people from other places and leaving his house and anything that doesn't involve, like, trying to make a classical reference in every instance in his life all the time and being angry that people want to, like, further scientific stuff, and he sucks. He really sucks. But, don't worry, Shannon O'Donnell is gonna see through his shitty, annoying exterior to his equally boring, shitty interior, and fall in love, and eventually become a Janeway herself. But first, basically, the whole story is they're trying to build the Millennium Gate. It's going to be it's like a biosphere thing that's going to teach them about how to, like, make life on other planets, and it's going to teach us more about our environment, and it's also going to have a mall, apparently.
Sounds right.
Yeah, and our girl, Shannon O'Donnell, is, like, actually a super cool engineer who I guess wanted to be an astronaut. I don't really know. And it turns out that this town of Portage Creek has been bought up piece by piece by Gerald Moss so that they can realize their Millennium Gate dream. And the one holdout, if you can imagine, is none other than classic reference spewing, stupid, annoying shut-in Henry Janeway, who's like, no, I don't want to get 20% more than my land is worth, even though literally it looks like we haven't ever had a customer in my bookstore, and how are we actually maintaining this way of life? But eventually, Janeway gets him to, not Janeway, fuck. Shannon... Janeway, Nee O'Donnell, gets him to come around right before the deadline of January 1st, 12 a.m., 2001, the real millennium.
11:59.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, at the end I was like, why was it called 11:50? Oh. And anyway, he agrees to sell his shit and let the Millennium Gate happen because Shannon's like, I really like you, but there's no opportunities here, so let's burn down your bookstore and get it on with this Millennium Gate.
And get it on in other ways.
Gross.
I have some ancestors I gotta make. No, some... what's future?
Descendants.
There it is. I have descendants we have to make.
Yep. So, basically, TLDR, and less confusingly, it's the meet cute of Janeway's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother and her great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. And it's stupid.
It's basically the first 5 minutes of Up, except it's bad.
So you guys don't like this one, is what I'm hearing.
I detested it.
Wow.
Because the whole thing hinges on Shannon and Henry. And I wanted Henry to get kicked down a flight of stairs.
I mean, I think that was my problem with it, too. It's like, I don't think these actors have chemistry together. I don't think he's a good character.
He's like 80 years older than her.
He's a lot older than her.
That's the thing. I looked it up. It's like, this guy could be her... In real life, he's only like 10 years older than Kate Mulgrew.
Really?
Wow,
yeah.
Well, he lived a hard life.
Yeah. So, like,
damn.
The gap isn't as big as it appears. And, they're adults, fine, whatever. But, like, not only do they fall in love, apparently, they fall in love in, like, 3 days.
That happens a lot on Star Trek.
In front of...
No, I know, and it's always...
In front of picture books with...
And it's almost always stupid, don't get me wrong. But this especially is just like...
Well, they didn't really show any scenes of their courtship other than...
The book dinner.
The book dinner.
Yeah, okay. We're going to Paris, opens a book, and is like, yeah, see, there's the Eiffel Tower.
Look, that was...
Butterfly in the sky.
That was very rom-com.
I
it was
found
very
that...
cute.
Yes, I found that one thing... If it wasn't Henry Janeway, the world's most annoying jackass, it would have been cute. In like a...
Here's the thing. Their romance is given away from the very top when he says his name is Henry Janeway, so they're gonna hook up, or she's gonna hook up with his son when he grows up because she's
The son would have been a better catch.
Yeah, no, the son was way cooler than Dad.
He was a little young.
Yeah,
but
he's also not
Whatever, we can wait a few years.
So here's the thing, right? So she said at one point in the episode she was 11 years old when the moon landing happened.
Yeah,
the moon
which
landing
was
happened in June 69.
Yeah, the character is a little younger than Kate Mulgrew.
Right.
Only a little though.
Yeah, so this would be taking place New Year's Eve in
2000.
In the year 2000. So she would be
31.
40.
41.
41 or 42.
Yeah.
No. 69 to 2000?
She was 11 in 69.
She was 11 in 69.
Oh, I'm math. 42.
So 42, 43.
Yeah, 42. Because I've seen the math that at the very, very end, with the photograph we see of older Shannon, she's supposed to be like 90-something there.
So what, she's going to pump out a bunch of progeny after the age of 42?
Apparently.
That's dangerous.
Jason's going to raise them. Jason, the
look, she lives to 90.
Stepson.
I mean, here's the other thing, though, is that this is an alternate history, obviously, right? Because there's no Millennium Gate
that we know of.
And
have you ever been to Portage Creek, Indiana?
This episode came out in 99.
Yeah.
So they knew there wasn't going to be a
that was a
Gate.
weird choice. Like, I know Star Trek does it all the time, but like TOS even was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have warp drive in the year 2000. But at least then it was 30 years, and television was still kind of new and seen as disposable. Had they realized people would still be watching and obsessing over it 60 years later, they might have hedged their bets.
Yeah.
But by the time of Voyager, that was like, really? You're setting the episode 2 years in the future, claiming they're gonna build this? What?
Hey, but as I said, at least they nailed it on Y2K being bullshit.
True.
Yeah.
Well, that's only because
any person with half a brain knew it was.
Well, no, it was like if there wasn't
there
a
was
lot
like
of
one
work
there was
put
like
in,
one computer that went down. I read
there was more. I'm sure there were more than that.
it was one I specifically read about.
There were a lot of people doing a lot of work to make sure it was a non-event.
But even after people had done all that, there were still people insisting it was gonna.
Well, there was like the doomsday people.
Weirdos.
You know, they're like, oh, Christ will return. But anywho, the funny thing about this is so we already knew that this is an alternate history because of fucking Captain Braxton having gone back to the 60s and changed history by getting his ship
from
captured
back from Future's End time.
From Future's End. So we already know. So that's possibly the point of divergence and why there's so much more better infrastructure projects.
There we go.
But I mean, we'll never hear from Captain Braxton again, I'm sure.
No.
But at any rate, so we can ultimately thank him for giving Shannon O'Donnell a project to work on.
Yeah.
And I do. Yeah, I think the thing, getting back to the romance with Henry Janeway, I think if he hadn't introduced himself as Henry Janeway at the top of the episode and just said, my name is Henry, this is my bookstore, and then we learn at the very end when he comes out, when he finally makes the decision, I'm going to sell my bookstore and take a couple extra dollars to Drew Carey's brother. And they say, good, sign right here. And he signs Henry Janeway, and then we know at the end, slightly more interesting.
Oh, it's Janeway's books.
Hi, my name is Henry Captain Janeway.
There was one point, as Caitlin, it was funny because we watched these separately, and one of the first things Caitlin said to me about the episode was making fun of his like constant big booming pronunciations about classical literature. Oh, come
like
forth.
Hector returning with supplies to the walls of Troy. Get the fuck out, you fucking asshole.
When I had been watching the episode, I was alone. I was just sitting there alone, and he did that, and I just went, shut up to no one because I was so sick of him.
By the cesarean birth of Julius Caesar.
So they wouldn't have called it a cesarean birth.
Tell him that. Tell Henry Janeway.
Well, because we're pretty sure he got some of his classics wrong too, but that's a whole different thing. Okay, so we've been shitting on this guy because he's the worst, but there were a couple of things I did like.
Oh yeah.
God.
Jesus, Caitlin.
No, I'm just kidding.
But it had
yuck this man's yum. He loves rom-coms.
Okay.
Oh no.
Times arrow.
No, here's the thing.
That's true. I will yuck.
None of what I liked about this had to do with the past.
Past. Oh, well, I'll get back to that then.
It was all stuff in the present. I just want to say some nice things, because we've been shitting mercilessly on this horrible, horrible man and how much he ruined the episode.
No, I mean, whoever wrote this episode ruined the episode,
I know.
Let's be fair.
But,
I will have a story on that.
Neelix's delivery...
You will eat those words.
Neelix's delivery of and reaction to Seven's face when he was like a little 7.9.5. He's like, oh, never mind. That gave me a genuine giggle.
Yeah, I liked 7.9.5. That was quite cute.
Yeah,
even though literally anyone telling a woman, "Oh, when you have kids, fuck you."
Yeah, like that's the thing.
Stupid mouth.
That was my first reaction too. Was just like, oh, we were doing this, but then she like made a face. He was like, oh, no, oh boy, I put my foot in it. It's like that was fucking funny. I also actually did like the scene because we never really see, because obviously then there wouldn't be a show, but you never see them just with what they do when they're not in the middle of a fucking crisis.
Oh, when they're like chilling, sharing stories.
Yeah, and they're all sitting around
over
talking
beer.
about their ancestors.
EMH walks in, and's like, "Oh, we're chit chatting. Can I chit chat too?"
And they all go like, "Oh no!" But like that scene as a scene was kind of great. It's like you never get that
because there's always a crisis.
Yeah, which again, that's how you have a TV show. But like that was kind of nice, even if it was a little weird to me. I will say at the end, where it's just like. Earlier in the episode, Jane was like, oh yeah, the records from that era are really spotty. And then Tom is like, I know everything about every Mars mission ever.
Yeah, that
it's
was
like, do the Parises have like a secret archive they haven't given anyone?
But they've all memorized.
Actually, knowing his father, maybe. But yeah, like those little like cozy scenes on the ships, like that's really nice. I almost wish they could have found a way to make an episode just based around... just a day on the ship when, like, shit hasn't been exploding for a while.
So like a Data's day, but on the Voyager.
Yeah,
Neelix's day.
Yeah, just a day of, like, let's just kind of hang.
Yeah.
That was really nice. We don't get enough of that.
I did like a lot of the stuff on the ship.
Yeah.
And everybody talking about their ancestors. I wanted like B'Elanna to have a moment, but hers was just like, I'm just glad I don't have to be in engineering so I can hang around and listen to stories.
Well, plus I just feel like I feel like she's a woman who her relationship with her entire line on both sides is so fraught. Yeah, like, true. People would try to tell her stories, but like, I don't fucking care. I hate you all.
I kind of thought that Janeway was behaving like a little baby about finding out about Shannon O'Donnell.
That Shannon was a fraud.
I mean... That was actually the idea, the basic concept I kind of like, of like, you've got this family history that you base so much of your identity around, and then you find out, like so many family histories, is so much bullshit.
Like history in general. Like
well,
they
yes.
even said, like, all the biased histories that they've read. The Vulcans actually thought we were fucking Luddites. The Bolians think we stink.
Well... But, like, the idea of, like, finding out your family history isn't what you thought it was, and it kind of being a bummer, as an idea, not bad. It's just, again, all the flashbacks with Henry.
I guess, like, I also just maybe just no one in my family has done anything worth, like, idolizing, but, like...
No McFly has ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley.
That's it. Like, I didn't grow up like, oh, and your great somebody did something amazing. There's none of that in my family line.
Well, that's because, like, most families are...
normal.
Well, also just, like, if you think about how many ancestors you would have had, like, so it's like, what, 300 years later? More?
Yeah, this is like, I think 15 generations past, I don't think they say.
So at 15 generations, you have what, 2 to the 15th power?
Sure.
Ancestors?
It could be overlap.
Sure. Either way, you have thousands and thousands of 15th great-grandparents.
Yeah.
So the fact that, like, this is the start of, maybe because it's the start of the Janeway line... So it's her paternal line, I guess, means that...
It's easier to track.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know any of my ancestors.
Exactly. But, like, that's the thing. You don't have to go, like... families get complicated the farther back you go because there's so many fucking branches. So the fact that this family story has survived for 15 generations is kind of silly. And, like, the other thing...
Or one of the recent ones was just really into Ancestry.com.
Maybe, but here's the other thing, too, right? If Janeway exists...
She does.
Catherine Janeway, if she exists, then that means that line of descendants, starting with Shannon O'Donnell, had to have continued for 300 some odd years.
Yep.
So that must mean that there must also, more than likely, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people descended from it's the same thing with like the Charlemagne. You ever hear about that?
Yeah.
How like because there are known descendants of Charlemagne that exist, then statistically almost everybody has to be a descendant of Charlemagne. Everybody of European ancestry.
Really?
Yeah, it's just because of the way, because there weren't enough people in the world.
Yeah, I didn't see you at the family reunion.
Nah.
Although apparently, at least
my invitation must have got lost in the mail, Ames.
I did read once some of those lines are questionable because some people would claim descendants.
But there are some verified ones that like have like heraldry and stuff. But anyway, my point being that like there's got to be a lot of Janeways or people descended from her.
Yeah.
So if Janeway knows about this, then presumably there are other people that know about it and have done the research.
Well, the Ferengi. That's the thing. That's the one interesting thing is apparently this bullshit made it.
That's the one interesting thing?
No. Well, the bullshit made it into the history books because the Ferengi knew about her because they were putting together a compilation about humanity's space exploration throughout the centuries. And so as far as they knew, that confirmed the story. So somehow, at some point, the Janeways managed to get their family history lie accepted as truth.
And the only man that can solve it is
Neelix.
Tom Paris.
And Tom Paris. None of the Parises ever looked into this.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
So, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe, like, Shannon O'Donnell is, like, a household name.
It's possible.
You know? But it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
But either way, Henry Janeway.
Oh God!
What a catch!
I wish they had gotten a different actor. I wish they'd gone a different direction with the character. Made him even if the actors aren't that different in age, they should he looks like her father.
Dye his hair.
If they had had this actor play her father in Ghost Dad episode, I would have bought it.
Yeah. And also because it's all flashback anyway, there was no reason to need the story to take place over a couple of days.
Explain.
Well, because we talk about, sometimes they clearly wanted to do sort of a longer story, but because of the nature of TV, Voyager can't stay at this planet for 3 months or something. The fact the story all takes place in this really short amount of time, the flashback story, could have taken place over months and just been we could have seen their relationship.
Oh, so you would have preferred longer is what you're saying?
Yes,
okay,
sorry.
I was thinking the opposite and got confused.
No,
this
God,
wants an entire season.
I'd rather boil my head. But I'm just saying, they could have. It's just. Again, we've seen a lot of boring, pointless men thrown at women in Star Trek, and for some reason, because the story needs them to, the women find them alluring. But this is one of the worst I've ever seen.
Well, at least in this case, it seems like O'Donnell, Shannon, is the smarter one.
Yeah.
They're not trying to make it I don't think they're trying to glorify Henry.
No, in some ways, it's funny, I was thinking about this. This is almost like a preemptive response to a lot of those terrible Hallmark Christmas movies. Where, a successful woman from the city, it's always just generic city, usually Vancouver, but they don't say that, goes to a shitty little small town. Usually, the difference is normally when she's from originally and grew up in, but either way, goes to a terrible little hometown and gives up her successful career and all this to be with some jackass from her hometown who spends the whole time with the rest of the town negging her for wanting to have a career and a life and be in the city instead of little heartland America. She still stays in Shitburg, but with the condition of I need a life. I'm going to help build this city thing. We're going to have some equality. So that I appreciated, that it's inverting that terrible awful formula.
It's because she's a fucking ice queen who's obsessed with her success in corporate America. And it's this down-to-earth, guy that wears a flannel shirt and shoots dirts at the bar.
Gingerbread cookie salesman.
Who teaches her.
Pretty sure there's a Hallmark movie
oatmeal
like that.
cookies.
And the title of this is
oatmeal cookies.
I do too, but I like them with chocolate chips.
Fuck yeah.
home
raisins
for Christmas
every day.
I like them with raisins also.
Okay.
whatever. But anyway, that's the moral of those. This is kind of flipping that on its head because she is the down and out failure.
Whoa.
Well, right, because she flunked out of astronaut training.
Oh yeah, but that's hard.
Oh, of course. I mean, but she is
this fucking
in her
loser
mind.
couldn't even
she's
get
a
through
failure.
astronaut school.
She can't.
But you're right. It's more. It's
She's,
her perception of herself.
It's her perception of herself. She's driving a shitbox car. She can't drive. Crashing into people.
Constantly eating cookies while driving.
I forgot to mention that. No, I did mention that. I mentioned the rear ending. Good.
And then she meets this guy who's also a massive failure. But they can.
No, he's doing a great job of not leaving his house.
But then in the end, she kind of fails up. She kind of escapes the failure.
She also finds the other answer to the problem. Like originally, it was either convince Henry to leave, or you have to leave. And she kind of found the other way around it, where now they're a couple or something.
I'm also a little weirded out that kind of the message of this episode in part 2 was corporate land development is the hero?
Yeah.
That's a little weird. Like, I know that it's... Like, you could read it as it's a scientific thing, and they're going to help pay for it by having a mall or whatever in there. Good luck, malls are about to die. But,
I was thinking that, too.
It's still, like, there's not enough emphasis on the fact. So it just does kind of...
Here's the thing, though. There's too much emphasis on the fact. And I originally had some, like... I saw the glimmers of hope in this episode, because there were a couple interesting things they were doing. Because, A, this comes out in 1999. They know the millennium is approaching. They have this Millennium Gate idea. Neat. And one thing that comes up multiple times, and the first couple times I was like, ooh, good touch, and then they hammered it home 15 more times, is the fight between the past and the future. Yeah. And Henry wants to stay in the past, where he thinks he's a Roman soldier or something, and Shannon keeps advocating for things are progressing and you have to embrace it. If you don't embrace it, you're going to get fucking stamped on. Yeah. And the first couple times, like, I get it. They're doing this because it's the millennium's coming. They want to be shining future, accept the internet. Put a computer in your home. Look how new and fancy they are. Have you heard of email? Emails can go hundreds of miles.
Somehow play a computer game without a mouse.
This game is great.
I play computer games without a mouse.
Well, but the implication of what he was saying was that it was a shooter, though, and a shooter without a mouse on a laptop is, like, impossible.
I didn't see the game. I missed it.
They have eye tracking.
Anyway, go on, sorry.
Wow, yeah, that's a great future.
Like, and that's kind of like the interesting thing of this story, because they did it to be timely, which I understand. Yeah. And the hilarious thing, guess who... They didn't pitch this episode because they ended up changing it, like, radically. But the idea came from a good friend of ours, John Delancey.
Yep.
What?
That's right.
Because originally he wanted it to be an episode in which Q gets effectively, like, saved by somebody in whatever turmoil he was in, and whatever this Janeway character would have been like his savior of whatever it was. But then they said, no, well, we like this idea of in the past something happened. We're going to meld it with our millennium idea. There was a moment where they said maybe Shannon will meet Q or Guinan. Kind of glad they didn't. Ooh. And eventually Delancey would write his idea into his book, IQ, which I should read.
Probably better than this.
Couldn't be worse.
I think here's
it's not that bad.
Here's my biggest problem with this episode, though, despite other things that everyone has said.
Because of the
So Drew Carey's brother,
Yep.
who's the land developer, he's a fine actor, and I don't want to shit on his acting, but he's the type of actor I think that you get for a smarmy corporate douche.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. He just looks evil.
He looks evil.
Yes.
And I don't want him to win. I don't want Janeway to win also, but I don't want him to win.
Yeah.
Because here's the other thing too, right? There's an unspoken premise here. Like this is like fucking propaganda. This episode feels like pro-corporate propaganda because they make Janeway an old fogey who doesn't want to sell his stupid store that nobody shops in. But here's the thing. This is fucking gentrification. This is like bulldozing a poor neighborhood. Imagine if they had made the Janeway character black.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Oh, wow.
And then you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
This
don't
fucking
close down
scumbag wants to shut down and bulldoze a black inner city neighborhood?
Yeah.
Like, fuck Drew Carey's brother, Janeway, O'Donnell would have been the fucking hero to stand up to Shitbird and say, no, you're not going to bulldoze this neighborhood. Take your fucking mall and go shove that fucking giant tower up your fucking fat corporate ass and get the fuck out of this town.
He'd die. He would die.
Well, yeah.
The other thing, too, is, like, it's so strange, because, like, when you think about, like, the Midwest, then and now, a lot of these small towns are dying as it is. And it's almost, like, weird. You're like, in a strange way, it's like, amazing they're actually giving these people more than their property's worth. If they wait, like, 2 years, the town will just shutter on its own.
Yeah.
So
well, speaking of waiting a couple of years, here's another thing, right? So they're building this massive fucking mall, right? They're displacing all of these impoverished people.
Yep.
What's going to be going on in like 20 or so years?
Yeah, malls are dying.
No. Not just malls are dying.
Oh, are you talking about...
I'm talking about fucking sanctuary districts, people.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's coming down the road.
True.
So here now you have fucking corporate utopia, bullshit. You know, the only job that Henry Janeway is going to get in that place is sweeping the floors. Let's be real.
Well, here's the thing. Henry Janeway is in prison for storming the Capitol on January 6th.
Oh,
yikes.
Yeah.
Because that was one thing. I don't know that he was necessarily xenophobic when we met him, but I'm sitting there and I'm just like, by 2016, this man is so into Trump.
I think he's dead.
Hopefully.
But we're getting, because he's already like 80, so, you know. But yeah, I think we're getting... There's a weird play, and maybe it's my leftism speaking, but I feel like the scumbag developer who's building this friggin' monstrosity on top of a poor city.
Yeah, it's
we know in the 20 years is a good time, but like in the not awfully distant future, we're going to end up in a situation where we have sanctuary districts.
Yeah, it's there's no good guy in this. Because again, I hate Henry. I hate Drew Carey's brother.
I don't like O'Donnell for convincing Henry to sell either.
And, like, I feel so bad for Jason, because you know he was getting the shit kicked out of him, like, every day for his father being the last holdout.
Well, he even said that. He's like, it's great for you. You don't have to go to school with these people's kids.
Yeah, well, but he didn't get into details, but it's like, oh, they wail on him.
Don't you feel like he would have gone bankrupt and had to have sold anyway eventually, though?
Absolutely.
Like, doesn't it make more sense that he at least got more money than it was worth?
It's kind of wild, because we enter the city... And Shannon basically says, well, it looks like it's already a ghost town. You're one of the few places that's still open. And I'm wondering, like, why did everyone else already shutter their businesses when this deal isn't complete?
Well, that's what
yet?
I mean. Like, how many of those shuttered businesses had already shuttered? That's not clear, you know? Like,
I assumed it was only because they had sold to the Millennium Gate. No, it's not stated otherwise.
Right, exactly. But then because they mentioned there's this deal in place, it does feel like, why would you already close? It's strange. I don't know. There's a lot wrong with this.
I also think, I mean, I'm shitting on this episode. I don't think it's awful episode. I just don't like any of it. We've talked about the complaints, but...
they needed a more compelling central character than Henry Janeway.
Yeah, I think it was cast all wrong. I think Henry Janeway was too old. I think corporate guy was too douchey looking. I don't think it should have been Kate Mulgrew. Because
I think she did a good job.
It's the Marty McFly syndrome all over again.
Enterprise is going to pull this bullshit, too.
Of course it will.
Yeah, Enterprise is going to pull the same bullshit, and I feel like I didn't want to bring it up because we haven't talked about it, but that episode, you know that meme? It's like, hey, let me copy your homework. Okay, but don't make it look like you're copying it. That Enterprise episode is this episode. It's the same fucking thing. It even takes place in a town called something Creek.
Does it? That's
Oh,
funny.
Yeah.
God, Carbon Creek.
Yeah.
Oh, that episode.
Oh,
It's
boy.
the same thing.
Oh,
It's
God.
the exact same thing. It's let's sit down and talk about stories
My
about our
ancestor.
ancestors. You know.
Yeah.
I did like Shannon with Jason. I thought they had a very nice little I could be your stepmom kind of rapport.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That was very cute. I thought Mulgrew especially did a nice job being a different character than just Janeway, but different.
Oh god, you were talking about the cookies earlier. That was the one thing I thought where he was like, I'm allergic to chocolate, which that he can't help. That I'm not going to hold against him. Can't help what you're allergic to. And she goes, oh, you don't know what you're missing. It's like, he's missing anaphylactic shock, Shannon.
Well, not necessarily.
I know.
I mean, I'm sure there's alternatives.
Here's the thing. Let's say he was severely allergic to chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, actually, like, anaphylactic shock levels. That's really why he's not alive in 2090 or whatever the hell it was, 2050, is one day he accidentally ate some chocolate and was lying there, and they're like, use your EpiPen, and he's like, no, they didn't have it in Roman times. Also, since Jason was too young to remember his mother, I maintain she didn't die, she ran off, and Henry lied to him.
Here's the thing. If you weren't already convinced that Henry Janeway's a fucking sociopath, the fact that his favorite cookie is oatmeal raisin...
My favorite cookie is oatmeal raisin.
I know.
That's the joke.
That was a specific dig.
Oh, thank you, Jake. Anyway, getting back to this, the one other credit I will give this episode, because there are such gleans of ideas in here.
Yeah, there are.
And I think their original idea of not having any shots on the ship and just doing a sci-fi show without the sci-fi, it's an interesting premise. And it's I see that they were trying something new, and there are ways that they could have succeeded with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think there's germs there that could have blossomed into a beautiful disease.
If they had done this more like a Far Beyond the Stars sort of thing,
Okay,
might have been more interesting.
That's a good episode.
Yeah, that's an episode that doesn't shit on fucking poor people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that shits on... What was Odo's character's name?
The fucking corporate people are the bad guys in that one.
Yeah.
As they should be.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
This was like the fucking Suits at Paramount. We're like, okay, everyone liked that everyone liked Far Beyond the Stars, but you know what? It kind of painted us corporate suits in a bad light. So let's do another one that's kind of like it, but make it so that they win.
It's funny though, because you talk about Drew Carey's brother looking like a smarmy corporate guy. What's funny though is I mostly know him from the Drew Carey show, where he's mostly in drag.
Yep.
And Fargo, where he literally like paints stamp art.
Oh, the ducks.
Yeah.
That's cute. Fargo is excellent.
I don't remember him from Fargo.
Yeah, he's Gunderson's husband.
Yeah, he's
the main the cop.
I don't remember. I've only seen it once.
Good movie.
I was gonna say it was a long time ago, and it wasn't. It was in the last 4 months.
I enjoyed the line when, Janeway and Shannon are having dinner in Paris, and Shannon says, I wouldn't mind visiting Paris one day. Maybe I'll get him out of a penal colony.
Penile colony.
No.
So they talk a lot about the Mars program, which, as we know, the Mars program was the subject of Picard season 2.
It's true.
But that took place in 2020, 2018, 2019. I mean, that was contemporary, I think, to when it was released.
More or less, I think.
So...
Might have been 2024.
The Millennium Gate.
I want to say it was, around then, because I think we were yelling, where are the
sanctuary districts?
Yeah. So the Millennium... Yeah, so again, I guess that's another thing. So Millennium Gate should have technically existed in Picard season 2 at that time, but Picard season 2 pretty much looks like present day America, so where's the fucking Millennium Gate? Oh, it's fucking rotting in Carbon Creek or whatever.
Because it failed miserably.
Yeah,
the mall shut down.
It's a dead mall.
COVID fucked everything.
It's just, the Millennium Gate. I think that would have been a better moral to the story. No, the Millennium Gate at the time, like maybe it's a cool landmark on Earth now to go visit, but at the time it was a fucking boondoggle. They couldn't lease the spaces. None of the life sciences stuff ever took off.
Overrun with coyotes.
The whole ground floor was a Sears, so that didn't work out so well. It's now an Amazon distribution center.
Oh, God.
Oh, and they've made the other 599 retail spaces into 7,000 small hutches where they can put away their Amazon workers at night for their requisite 4 hours sleep before throwing them back onto the warehouse floor.
And every September it becomes a spirit Halloween.
Yay. We should all be so lucky. One more note. I like that Harry's great uncle such and such was doing a stasis tour of somewhere where they couldn't actually go, saw that was wrong, just turned around and went home.
Yeah, we were talking about stasis ships a few weeks ago because of Jankum.
We were, yeah.
And no one in the Kim family has made it past ensign since.
Yeah. The curse of the Kims.
Speaking of Paris.
Interesting segue. Where are we going with this?
Paris, weren't you listening?
We'll always have it.
We'll always have it. Okay, in Relativity. Oh, man. Okay, so there are these time cops, and they keep drafting 7 of 9 to stop the USS Voyager from being destroyed by a
time
it's
bomb.
like a time bomb.
Time
It's
bomb's
like,
a thing.
well, it
It's a literal time
Yes,
bomb.
there we go.
but it's like an anomaly bomb.
Yeah.
An abomaly.
It's an abomination.
It is that. And basically what's happened is that someone set us up the bomb, and it's going to blow up the ship, and we open on what we find out is, what was it, try number 2 of getting 7 of 9 to go back in time to stop the bomb from being placed on the Voyager, but she fails, and the ship explodes, and everybody dies. Rocks fall. She's working with Captain Braxton, and apparently
Lieutenant Duquesne.
Lieutenant Duquesne.
My boyfriend.
And they're aboard the ship Relativity. Isn't that cute? It's a Starfleet time ship called Relativity. And they're like, well, I guess we're going to have to grab 7 of 9 one more time and try again. But if we do it more than this many times and try to send her back in time a 4th time, we could disrupt all of her shit. And they were like, we don't really care. Send her back. And we find out that our buddy Captain Braxton has been, who is sort of in charge of the mission, sending back 7. He sort of forbids her from working with Janeway directly to solve this problem, because he's like, I've had to clean up that bitch's messes so many times. Once I was in jail, or not in jail, once I was marooned on, what was it, like 20th century Earth or 21st century Earth for like decades, he said? Which, he didn't look that old to me.
That's past Future's End.
Yeah, when they went back to Los Angeles in the 90s.
It's the same character.
Different actor.
Oh.
So we have seen him before.
Oh, okay, and he was marooned on Earth for years and years
he crashed
and years?
there in the 60s.
For decades?
And then Ed Begley Jr. stole his ship.
Yeah, remember he flipped out, called the cops like Cardassian agents or
Oh
something.
yeah, didn't we watch this recently?
No.
We watched it
Why?
Well,
years
like
ago.
last year.
We had
Yeah.
Justice
Sometime
on
in the
for
last
that
year.
episode.
Right, no, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, that's the connection. It's the same character.
Oh, cool. Well, anyway, he doesn't seem to like Janeway very much. How much does he not like him? Well, it turns out that the time cop who is sending, Captain Braxton, who is sending 7 of 9 back to stop the bomb, is also the person, a future person, who sets up the bomb to begin with. And then we have to chase him through time. We get Janeway in on it. We're chasing him back and back and back. 7 of 9's like, keep sending me back in time. I have to get him. And they're like, but it'll fuck up your whatevers. And she's like, I don't care.
Temporal psychosis.
Ah! And eventually, the 7 of 9 that we send back in time gets shot and talks to present 7 of 9, who has to help catch him for real. I don't know.
And I've gone cross-eyed.
Basically, time travel, bomb. That's it.
Great description.
This
Thank
episode
you.
only makes sense if you don't think too hard about it.
It does. It's such an. I'm sorry, Caitlin seems confused because this is one of my favorite episodes. So fuck me,
Caitlin
I
kind of
guess.
always seems confused.
This one's so here's the thing. I thought Captain Braxton that spent 30 years on Earth was wiped out of existence by the fact that they because Braxton comes back at the end and they're like, oh, you're fine. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm okay with it because this is more interesting than that.
I mean, that's fair, but...
Yeah.
He's a time cop. He should have memories of it.
Yeah, and they talk about integrating, so it seems
Yeah.
like maybe they can put versions together. The ethics of everything time Starfleet does bothers the shit out of me.
Like that they can arrest you for crimes you haven't yet committed.
Yes!
What's that, Minority Report?
Yes,
That's what I said.
But also, like,
We should do Minority Report too.
who's
someday.
to say what the correct timeline is? Is it actually the correct timeline or the timeline that makes them happy, like a certain Krenim?
I was gonna say, they need Red Foreman's little diagram with all the lines.
Or like in Loki.
Or that, yes, I was thinking that too.
I
But
don't know what that is.
Well, I think what the time cops are mostly going for is an existence in which no other times affect each other. Like, it should be free of paradoxes, or at least the paradoxes that cancel each other out.
I mean, I think the best definition would be causality only flows in one direction. Like, you can't have something in the future affecting something from the past, and that would be my definition of a clean timeline.
Yeah, that's what they're trying for, maybe.
So none of this Bill and Ted
like,
thing.
Spoken like a true time cop, Jake.
That's right. Well, here's the other thing. So, like, there's a few, like, hand-wavy things in this episode that bother me a little bit. Like, oh, yeah, don't worry, they'll be reintegrated before the trial. What does that mean?
I've seen arguments that it's whatever the Enterprise in the original series episode...
I thought of that with the pilot.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow is yesterday?
Sure.
I'm going to say tomorrow is yesterday.
I think
so. Whatever they did to Major Christopher, in which they beamed him back inside himself.
Yeah.
Is, I think, the line Spock says, or something insane.
But didn't he have also no memory then?
Yeah,
of
that's the
ship,
thing.
Which was weird.
Yeah, maybe they found a way to make it work. But again, like, how can you hold...
Spock isn't a time cop. He doesn't have this technology in the 29th fucking century.
Yeah. But also, like, how can you hold current Captain Braxton responsible for the actions of future Captain Braxton? That seems unfair.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this episode, but I think that you're right about not.
There's some major ethical issues. Like,
there's ethical issues, and there's just like.
I hope the temporal Cold War keeps these people from ever existing.
Yeah, no, I mean these guys. No, what it is these guys are the CIA. If the temporal Cold War was like the real Cold War, these guys are the CIA, and they're orchestrating coups throughout the timeline.
Oh, probably they suck.
I have to say,
I
think my favorite thing about this episode,
Jerry Ryan in the uniform.
Jerry Ryan in the fucking uniform.
Yes!
She looks so good. She looks so good. Her proportions look human.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't look like top heavy as much.
She can bend over.
She can bend over. She looks it's just like when Deanna put on the uniform. Instantly improves the character just by the costumes.
Yeah, she looks like a credible person, not someone who's literally there to be eye candy.
Yeah, because the thing is, as I think we'll all agree, 7 of 9, great character. Great character. The costume detracts.
Oh, yeah.
And it's unfortunate, and it works. It takes that away and brings it to the next level. And I think they should have stuck with it. I think they should have done what they did with Deanna, which was after Chain of Command. They're like, nope, she just wears a uniform now.
Yeah. I actually wonder if... I could look back, but I don't want to at the moment. Is how much did they start treating the character Deanna differently in the writing when she was treated like a member of the crew and not like this special counselor thing who gets to wander around in her pajamas when she wants to?
They didn't change it all that much, because I still don't think she had any great stories. She had the one where she tried to become a commander.
That was not bad. From what I recall. Or at least that thread.
Oh, yeah, in Thine Own Self. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun, but again, like so much time travel stuff, don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, I think what they do is they do a good job of not making you think about it too hard, because the pacing and the way that they kind of explain as they're going keeps you moving forward, even though time is jumping around.
Yeah.
So I think the followability of this episode in real time makes it very compelling. It's when you start thinking about, wait a minute, in the very first scene, when we have Seven back in Voyager in dry dock, which we'll get back to dry dock. I'm sure it was porn for Chris.
I love the dry dock.
And she finds the device then.
Should have called it Wet Dock.
But yeah, how does it exist there when he doesn't put it on the ship until... Like, it somehow exists throughout time?
I don't understand that.
But it's a time weapon, so okay.
Yeah, you kind of left it like, I accept it because we need it to move forward because the rest of everything going on is keeping me focused.
We just wanted an excuse to put Mulgrew in that wig. Which, is it just me, or was that bigger than her hair actually was in the first season? It felt huge.
I think it got bigger as the episodes went along.
Because, like, she almost looked like fucking Yubaba.
I like the
Spirited Away.
Sure.
The witch. Yeah, I did really like a lot of the scenes that were told in that period, because we'd never seen that before.
The dry dock period?
Yeah. You know, and like hearing, like when Janeway's like saying, oh, you know, I was thinking we need a pilot that knows these people. I was thinking about this Paris guy. And
Oh
you have
yeah,
that little,
where's
I thought that was-
Tuvok right now? We know.
Yeah,
we know
so-
where Tuvok is.
So it's like a really interesting previously on. Because a lot of times when you do these time travel episodes, it goes back to a period of time that we've already seen.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Like the episode with Kess.
Yeah. Oh, and they even got what's his name back for 5 minutes.
Oh, Carrie.
Carrie,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, he's still around. I just don't think he's been in a lot of
We will
episodes.
see him again.
I know we see him again.
I just feel like it's been a while since we've seen him, so I wasn't sure if like they still.
Well, it's because
had
they
him.
needed an engineer character, and they're like, oh, it can't be B'Elanna.
I was
And-
hoping we'd see Statty, because I remember liking her in the 2 scenes she was in.
God,
Caregiver.
I think they could have
Caretaker.
brought back Vorik because he should be there. I think.
He should, yeah.
Suitor.
No, Suitors are
Oh, yeah, he's a
He's
Maquis.
Maquis.
Right. Damn it.
But
Hogan?
yeah.
No, he was Maquis too.
Yeah.
God damn it. Most of the engineers are Maquis. I guess.
That's because they're great at kludging shit.
Yes, exactly. Those ships are falling apart. They need to.
Yeah, well, plus I'm about to say, I guess if anywhere really had some big explosions, it was engineering. A lot of engineering staff lost.
But yeah, no, I do like a lot about this episode. You know, I think Jerry Ryan does a great job with her scenes, which is all
phenomenal.
of them.
I read it was very cute that someone had only like a couple weeks before like asked her in like an AOL, one of those AOL chats that they did all the time back then.
The Reddit AMA of the 90s.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, oh, will we ever see Seven in a Starfleet uniform? And Jerry Ryan's like, fuck no, she's not Starfleet. And then she gets the script for this episode and has to get called in to do a costume fitting for a Starfleet uniform. And she's like, well, neat, but good, because she looks so good.
She could totally claim, like, I just wasn't allowed to say.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're Starfleet or not. Like, Chakotay isn't Starfleet. B'Elanna isn't Starfleet. They're wearing uniforms.
Yeah.
They're not wearing, like, in...
she didn't, like, induct them all at some point, like, in a ceremony of some kind, like...
Like at the
Nothing
end of
like
Caretaker.
A field commission.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, then she could do the same for 7 and 9. Why not?
Yeah, I feel like Seven would, like, that's the question, would Seven accept it? And I think probably, why not?
7 will do whatever Janeway wants her to do, if we've learned anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That tracks.
that's another very cute thing about this episode is Seven saying, so you want me to go back in time and stay away from Janeway, when Janeway's probably actually a really good asset to have because she's so resourceful. And Braxton's, oh, absolutely fucking not. No, fucking no. And I just watched Duquesne in the background, and Chris can tell us who Duquesne is. Being like, what if we do it, though?
I love the scene where he, like, she can't hear him. He's like, no, God damn it! And she's giving everything away. Duquesne, so I meant to look him up earlier and completely forgot. Fucking Agent Wells in season 2 of Picard.
Agent Wells, who's that?
He was the INS or ICE agent.
Oh.
Yeah?
Oh no, wait, no.
No, not
was
not
he,
ICE.
he was yeah, you're right. The ICE agent was the other jackass. No, he was the
was he the guy in the
Ill-fitting
questioning room? Ill-fitted suit.
Yeah, he did have an ill-fitted suit. Yeah, no, he was the guy that
Yes.
Oh, neat. I'll have to go back. Well, I
Which
don't want to go back and rewatch Picard, but
Well, we will be
goddamn.
in a few years.
which
Anyway, getting back to Duquesne.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I ship Seven and Duquesne real hard. I don't know why. It's the very first time I watched this episode, and I think it's when she dies on the transporter pad, and he actually seems to have a sad about it. Like, I told you this would happen. Now we have to get another Seven. I have to tell her again of all the things and do the cute little, you ask me that every time. And there's something about their chemistry that... It reminds me a little of, there's a show Jake and I watched, and it apparently got canceled before it could continue.
Of course. Everything does these days.
The Time Traveler's Wife, which is an interesting premise.
Oh, is it the one based on the book?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's based on the book.
I love that book.
I should read the book, because
yeah,
the show
was-
cuts off.
The show
I
cuts
don't
off and
know
was
if you'll
meh.
love the book, because it's definitely rom-commy with like a... Not
So is the
rom-commy.
show.
Rommy.
It's rom creepy.
Yeah,
Mm.
rom
The-
creepy is actually more like it, because he's like, I met you when you were a child, and it's like...
I feel like
I'm
rom
trying real hard not to groom you, but I happen to know you're going to be my wife.
Rom creepy kind of describes a lot of rom-coms.
Yes.
Anyway, Time Traveler's Wife.
Yes, in which it's someone who goes back in time just haphazardly and happens to meet his wife when she is a child. And the way that it's structured is, it's in no particular chronological order, which is very interesting as a device. Mm-hmm. And that reminds me of kind of this episode where Duquesne and Seven are kind of interacting out of order with each other, and Seven keeps having to come back in and be like, who are you? Who the fuck are you? He's like, that's right, you don't remember. I keep thinking you're going to remember. I don't know. I find them very cute.
Yeah, well, I definitely got sort of at least from him, kind of a flirty vibe.
Yeah, a respecting flirty. I think he's very respecting of her, like, sleuthing skills and all the stuff that she does.
It's definitely not
mystery thing.
Yeah, it's not weird, like, gross flirting that we so often get. Like,
he says, "You know what? You'd look better in a Starfleet uniform."
Yeah.
So you know what? Like, if I were to do a rewrite pass on this episode,
Doesn't need it.
what I would I think it does.
Fuck you.
If I were if I was a doctor of this script,
You're no Duquesne.
here's how I would have changed it.
more Duquesne.
I would have removed any reference to the reintegration of Braxtons. I would have just, when like Janeway's like, well, what are you gonna do with all the other Braxtons, or however that came up?
Airlock half.
They're just like, oh, we have systems for dealing with that. Just whatever.
Oh God, that's even more creepy.
Well, no, it's just they'll
top men.
They'll be top men basically. We don't need to know. Reintegration, stupid. Then when it's at the very end, it's like, okay, what do we do now? Well, how do we get Seven back? And then they've already set it up in the episode. They say, well, unfortunately, this 7 of 9 can't time travel anymore because she's exceeded the max limit. So if she goes back, she's going to lose her mind. So unfortunately, this 7 of 9 is going to have to stay here and be a time cop with us.
Yay, I watched that series!
I'd actually been half expecting him to say, like, that 7 had to stay with them.
Yeah, and then that's fine because we still have the 7 on the ship. You have this 7, and
we can have her guest in future episodes.
And that leaves open the possibility of a future episode where Time Cop 7 shows up, and everybody on the crew's like, what? And Janeway's like, oh, I know about you. I think that would have been a better ending, marginally better, because it just leaves open the possibility of bringing that character back.
Okay, I'd like that.
And it makes sense. And then you can also, in your mind, you can still ship them together if you want. I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah.
Those little 7.9.5s.
But speaking of Seven's romance, I loved the detail that Tom was supposed to do the ping pong tournament with Chapman.
Oh yeah.
But Chapman had, what was the reason?
I didn't hear it.
Basically, he had the space sickness that everyone else was getting. That was the first seeding of the space.
But he had a broken pelvis from banging 7.
No, what I was going to say is the reason why he couldn't do the ping pong tournament was because he heard it. Like, yeah, he told everyone he had space sickness, but really he was nursing a busted shoulder.
I forgot that was Chapman. That is exactly why he couldn't do it.
Yep. Because it's a ping pong tournament. You need a functional arm to play ping pong, and his arm's fucked up because 7 tried to rip it out of its socket.
That had to be an effect with McNeil, right? When he was just walking down the hall hitting the thing.
I don't know.
Maybe he's really good at...
It looked real to me.
I tried to look into it, but I couldn't find it. Like, I tried Googling Voyager, Duncan McNeil, ping pong, but all I just got was this episode.
Right.
And nothing, even in Memory Alpha, mentioned whether or not he really did that.
It's not that hard.
Well, when you're walking, I feel like it might be.
Like, here's the thing, it's probably not that hard, but walking and delivering lines and having to... Like, if he really did it...
With a cameraman in front of you.
If he really did it, that must have been like the 80th take.
Yeah, how many takes?
Because that was one thing, I was like, this has got to be fake. But then the way he catches it at the end, and it's clearly a real ball in his hand, I'm just like, they either did that transition really fucking well, or he just really did that. And I wish I knew.
I bet you he talks about it on the Delta Flares, but I haven't listened to this episode yet.
For all we know, he's a ping pong champ.
Yeah, no, I mean, he may have. I wish I knew.
That's why they rated a ping pong scenes, because it's like, oh, Robbie already knows how to play ping pong like a pro.
But if it was an effect, it was really well done.
Speaking of Bob's, I really enjoyed the sick bay scene.
Oh, early days EMH?
Yeah.
That was very cute.
Who's just like, are you done? Turn me off. Jesus Christ.
I love how it's such a different character because he's still in his grouchy phase and not in his, I'm going to sing and take photos and be friends with everyone phase.
Yeah, nice little, that was probably the most fun part of the flashback. It was like, oh yeah, he used to be a pain in the ass.
Big time.
Now he's a different kind of pain in the ass. He's a fun pain in the ass.
No, the best part of the flashback for Chris was the shipyard.
That was great.
The shipyard was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like seeing the Galaxy class that was like under construction was neat.
There was an Akira, I think.
Couple. And at least one Excelsior.
Yeah, I read the note. The note was very cute because, they give Foundation Imaging the task of, we're going to see a couple, like, the Voyager at the shipyard. And they're like, the shipyard, you say? Just the Voyager? No. We're gonna fucking go hog wild with this 2-second scene for specifically Chris. Because you can't tell fucking design nerds, this is going to be the funnest thing to design and you only have to design this tiny corner of it. No, they did the whole fucking thing. They did way more than was requested. And I'm also told that the final shot of Mars, I don't remember which shot this was, but I wrote this down, is an actual satellite photo from NASA of the real Utopia Planitia.
Nice. Yeah, I actually, normally I don't really delve into Memory Alpha because, again, that's sort of your department. But I happened to see that note because I was trying to find information on Duncan McNeil and the fucking ping pong. So I saw that. I was like, oh, thank you, nerds.
Yeah, you got to figure that the reason why there's so many ships under construction is because of Wolf 359, right?
Yeah.
And then imagining most of these ships are getting destroyed in the Dominion War.
Yay!
Yep. I'm surprised they're still building galaxies at this point.
I mean,
But
but remember,
family
this is way in the past, though. This is
Well, even by the beginning of Voyager, though, you figure they probably are getting ready to move on to Sovereign as their, like, big model.
yeah, possibly. Although I don't know. I mean, they still make Excelsiors after because like the Sovereign isn't serving the same function that the Galaxy did.
No, she's
They probably still need that like fucking cruise liner class.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they building new Excelsiors, or do they just keep refitting the bastards?
Yeah, I think, because I know we saw when we talked about ship designs, there was one that was in Lower Decks that was basically an Excelsior.
Yeah.
But what about that just lose? It's gone now. But yes, that thing.
But yeah.
Yeah, why mess with perfection, eh?
Yeah, speaking of ships, we see the Relativity, and I remember when we discussed ship designs back in one of our blog activities. Go check it out on Star Trek, whatever the name of our blog is. God damn it! God damn it!
SSHB
It's
podcast?
gone. That's the one. Thank you, Caitlin.
You're welcome.
Fuck me. I remember when we talked about the Relativity in that blog post. You guys were like, I mean, it doesn't look like any Starfleet ship, and yes, it's because it's a future thing.
I can see how if they were trying to extrapolate from Voyager, like
fucking 100 years in
the
the
saucer
future.
sort of shrinks down and all gets more integrated. Like I can see what they were going for, but it just looks so alien.
Yeah, it also, but it's a time ship, so I wonder if some of the interesting frilly shapes. It looks kind of like some kind of a mollusk, a little bit.
It definitely has a sea creature vibe.
Yeah, I wonder if some of that is so that it can live kind of outside space-time, like a Krenim ship did, even though they didn't look like a mollusk at all.
No.
They looked like a beautiful chandelier earring set.
Like, that's the thing, is if you just told me it was some alien ship, if you told me that was a Voth ship, I'd be like, sure.
Looked a little like a Voth ship.
But it's just so... And it's also... One thing that was not clear from the photos is that it's kind of pearlescent.
Yeah.
Like, as it moves, it's like the paint shifts a little.
It's purple and green at the same time.
It's like, what is this? Some fucking... I feel like it's like a Pimp My Ride ship. It's like we put this crazy pearlescent thing. There's speakers.
Yep, it's got spinny hubcaps.
You put hubcaps on your hubcaps. I heard you liked hubcaps, dog. So now you can hubcap while you hubcap.
So I do wonder, because we're only taking their word for it.
Yep.
That they are Starfleet. We don't know that they're Starfleet. They could be.
They've got the badge that everyone hates.
They do
It's
have
a
the
dumb
badge. that everyone
badge.
Yeah,
hates.
but couldn't they just replicate that up?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know that they're actually Starfleet. We're just taking their word for it. They could be part of one of the factions in the Temporal Cold War.
That's fair.
Because here's the thing: we now know from Discovery that by the 32nd century, or whatever that is, that Starfleet doesn't have a time ship division at that time. So
Maybe they're secret, like Section 31.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like a time ship should be more secret, because they're... If you know about the time ship, then you know about all the things that happen in time.
But again, they seem to be based in the 27th century, 29th century, which is before the burn. So maybe they disband at some point or get destroyed.
And again, maybe they get undone by Enterprise. It's very... Just don't think too hard about it.
I actually thought that this was Section 31 at first.
Section 31 would have made some more sense.
I could see that.
I wonder why Starfleet doesn't already... Because time travel is evidently pretty easy to do.
Just slingshot it around the sun.
Just slingshot around the sun. You'd think that Starfleet would already have time cops operating.
Maybe they do, and these time cops have to come back and fix their work because their tech isn't advanced enough.
Oh,
God. We know that they have the Temporal Investigations Department.
Yeah.
Because they showed up on Deep Space Nine.
On trials and tribulations
Yeah,
time.
we were talking about that.
But they're just trying to determine if there
How
is
bad shit was broken.
How much did you fuck up? Not
How much did you fuck up?
did you
They're
not
actually
trying to
a pretty
fix
good
it?
job of not fucking up
They did.
in Trials and Tribulations.
I do love
I don't know.
though.
Julian almost fucked his grandma.
That's true.
Maybe he did fuck his grandma.
He did do the nasty in the
The
past.
Pasty, we
The
just watched
Pasty.
that one. Julian is lacking the Delta brainwave.
That explains some things.
I will say though, in a way, Braxton kind of had a point in that, like, he's like future evil Braxton. God, he's like Janeway's such a problem.
Temporal psychosis Braxton.
Yeah, he's like Janeway's an enormous problem, and then Janeway is like, I don't care if it undoes history itself. You will tell me what's going on. It's like, she means it. I think Janeway's gone a little mad over the past 5 years.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it temporal
Yeah,
psychosis?
it's temporal psychosis. That's what it is. She's fucked with time so much.
That's what happens.
Crazy, crazy Janeway. Crazy old Maurice Janeway.
You know, crazy old Janeway could apply to both of these episodes.
I don't know. I think there was a great line in here that would be a great title. There's a... Oh, the slogan of the Time Cops. There's no time like the past.
That's a good title.
Fuck, that is nope, that's the
really
episode
good.
title right there.
Yeah, the moment he said that, I'm like, oh man, that works. Chris is gonna enjoy this one.
I didn't even think of that. Thank you.
I
Oh,
was
we
too
didn't-
busy making fun of that line earlier to think about its usefulness to our show.
I did like to, I gave up worrying about tense years ago.
Yeah. We haven't talked about the things that are going on the Voyager that are kind of hints. Like, there's like all those weird little time shifts happening.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Neelix calls down to the EMH because someone's going space mad or something.
They're violently ill.
Space sickness, I think, is what they call it.
Yeah, although it's the mess hall, so it also might have been food
Whoopsie.
poisoning.
And EMH gets there, and it hasn't happened yet. And then suddenly, Ensign so-and-so keels over.
Yep.
And, good lucky I was here. Well, you called me.
Did he then have to still make the call?
No, he was already there.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, though, but to make sure the call happened, you have to go, remember to call me in 3 minutes.
No, that's some Bill and Ted level time travel stuff right there.
They're the real-time cops. They're the people that fix the issues that temporal Starfleet thinks they're fixing. It's all...
It's
Bill and Ted.
buckets on the door all the way down.
Well, I was going to say, oh, fuck, what's Rufus's actor's name? George Carlin.
Yeah, I was
George
gonna say,
Carlin's
they
people.
should have had Carlin play Braxton.
They should have just had the original Braxton play.
They
Or
should have
that,
well, but
yes.
that guy kind of sucked.
I feel like...
As an actor or as a person?
I mean, I just didn't think. I thought the guy that they got for this episode was a better actor than the guy that played him in the first
He's
episode.
Probably
he's
couldn't have
definitely
afforded
good. I just
Carlin.
don't remember him really.
He was, kind of at his peak in the 90s.
Yeah, I bet
You
he'd
know-
do a Star Trek though. He seems like a Star Trek guy.
Neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. Speaking of things that are here and there, we have Janeway's all the way down in this episode. And the one thing that always takes me out, because this seems fucking impossible. We run into Seven in the pool table room. What do you think of the pool table room? Oh, the design is efficient. Neat. Thanks, Seven. Later on, another version of Janeway looks at Seven and says, wait, I do know you. You're that ensign I spoke to exactly once and for exactly 5 seconds 3 years ago, and you said the pool room
In
table...
some number of minutes.
Janeway has a crazy good memory, because there's a
It's
lot
too
of that
much.
in this.
No, that is beyond plausible. I
Like-
can't remember people whom I have worked with a year after they leave an office.
But
so-
here's the thing, right? The one possible thing that might give it credence is that shortly after that, like Seven is peculiar, and Janeway even kind of notes it, like when she says.
She says it like a Vulcan. Vulcans.
Yeah, but
aren't
exactly. But you don't
peculiar, they're just
expect that
Vulcan.
from a human. So she's looking at Seven like, oh yeah, see, it's efficient. Yeah, like probably walked out there and what a fucking weirdo. And then shortly thereafter is when they detect the
Chronotons
the
or whatever.
Chronoton Zubadoob.
The 3.03 or 0.03 or
Yeah.
something.
0.0003.
It was 0.003.
Oh, I read it in a book.
I thought there was 2 zeros. Well, I don't know. You might be right. I thought it was 0.003.
You could
Oh,
not
well, there's
even
also
be right.
there's also the 0.0036 or whatever fuckery that Duquesne there was like, oh, not as bad as I thought.
So those are two kind of odd events that happen within close succession. So maybe the excuse I'm giving is that she also detected the 0.003 variance, and that's what made her go find Seven in the first place.
Yeah.
So maybe like it just jogged that memory that like
Maybe,
Oh yeah, the same day that we last detected this, there was somebody that looked like you, and you're very memorable because you're so fucking peculiar.
Would also maybe...
You look great in that uniform.
I was gonna
maybe
say, 'cause
kind
you're
of
so hot.
Maybe kind of helps it too. It's like she's only seen the same people for the past 5 years.
Well, she definitely would have recognized... Well, also it was only 2 years.
Oh, that was 2 years later?
Yeah.
Janeway? Okay.
So...
Jesus, see?
Yeah, that was during that Kazon attack.
So that would...
Right.
Yeah. So, but also, yeah, there's 100% Janeway would recognize somebody on her crew that was out of place at that point. Because there's 150 people.
But yeah, whether or not she'd actually... Because the other thing is, like, on the one...
by the time we...
Yeah.
On the one hand, it's a little weird. You know, it's like... Because it's like, you could kind of see how it worked. But on the other hand, it's like... I feel like your first day on the job has been completely wiped out by the crazy crisis you had a week later. And, I wouldn't remember it because it's like, too much has fucking happened.
Mm. Yeah, well, a .003 temporal variance must just be a very rare thing.
It's something.
Because, yeah, it sticks out every time it happens.
Oh, what did you guys think of seeing the Voyager destroyed by that time weapon?
It's a good explosion.
Like, it was a strange effect. It was one of the weirder explosions of a ship we've seen.
Because it was, like, not a traditional...
Yeah,
it was being ripped apart by anomalies, like the...
Blue flames.
It came apart in chunks instead of exploding into glitter like they usually do.
And the bits of ship that were left behind had, like, a weird, almost lace effect in the hull.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it was very different.
I noticed it being different, and then because it's a time bomb.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Again, with time bomb. Some days you just can't get rid of a time bomb. Seven just running around with a rubber head. Speaking of time bombs.
Yeah, we got lots of time bombs. We've even brought a couple up during this episode.
Yep.
And oh boy, when I put together our little blog activity for today talking about time travel instances in Trek, I didn't realize there were like
so
60 of them. So we're going to try to keep it a little more focused, and we're going to tell you our top and bottom time travels.
Wait, bottoms too?
Yes.
Fuck.
Because there's a couple I need to shit on.
Fair enough.
From Trek, and dealer's choice if you want to choose anything that follows this episode in our watch. Because oh boy, does anyone have anyone that they want to start with for tops or bottoms?
So the Visitor is just playing one of the best episodes of Star Trek ever.
Are we doing this like our year or our end of season?
Sure.
Thing where you just list your tops?
Yeah, give us all your tops, Chris.
Okay,
and tell us what you need to about them if you want to.
I mean, the Visitor's just so well acted. Like, it's just so good. Tony Todd knocks it out of the park.
He does.
Yeah, no, it's a great fucking episode. It's really... These are in no particular order, unlike my usual lists.
Oh my god.
Little Green Men, because of course
Yes.
I had to pick that one.
Mm-hmm.
Ferengi at Area 51. There's some stuff that I could have done without, like the Umox, but aside from that, so much fun. What's it called? Not Enterprise Incident. Yesterday's Enterprise.
Oh, yeah.
The Enterprise C and Lieutenant Happy Gilmore
Castillo.
guy. Thank you. Castillo. Oh yeah, Voyage Home, of course. Like, the go-to Star Trek time travel story for everyone. Double Dumbass on You and Too Much LDS in the 60s. And when we was talking about time travel, like, I think the first things I thought of were like Voyage Home and City on the Edge of Forever. Before it's like, okay, what even before you had a list, I was like, well, what else was there?
Yeah. There are a lot. The thing is, like, a lot of the ones that Memory Alpha cites are just ones in which
Time stuff happens.
There's a time thing that happens briefly.
And actually, you know what? I'm going to go off list for my number 5.
What?
Time Amok.
I wouldn't count that as a time travel episode.
Oh, but time stuff happens.
Yeah, why not?
It's a time is just moving at a different rate. You're not traveling in time. You're traveling at your rate of time.
True,
That's
but
time.
time's broken.
But I also do love that episode.
That's time shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's count.
Plus,
All right,
I think the
all right.
Memory Alpha list includes one that does that, so fuck it.
Does it?
Yeah, the one where, like, there's 3 datas at the end.
There is time travel in that one.
There is?
Yes. The
I only
Always
remember...
Have Paris?
I just remember there being, like, 3 datas at the
3
end.
datas, 1 bridge.
Yeah, because they're from different times.
Are they? Well, fuck it. Time Amok anyway, because
Fair.
fuck
Okay,
it.
I'll allow it.
It's our show, we can bend the rules.
I guess I can go.
Jake.
I have some overlap. So I'm going to go. Mine appear to be in broadcast order, probably because I was reading through the list and adding them as I went. So I'm going to start with The City on the Edge of Forever.
Oh, good. I'm glad someone mentioned it.
Classic episode. you know, a good Star Trek episode in that, like, there's a moral quandary involved, and yeah, just generally good episode.
Very good.
I also said The Voyage Home.
Yay!
I said Tapestry, that being the one where Picard has to go back in time to prevent himself from getting stabbed through the chest.
It's a good choice, too.
Yeah, and I like that episode because of, you know, there's just Picard learns an important lesson. That don't fuck with the past, basically.
Sleep with Q.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Sorry, I just realized the formatting of the list was such that I didn't know I could swipe right and see even more episodes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, I had to put it in columns to fit on one page.
Next up, you're going to do The Visitor.
Yes.
Again, another great episode for reasons mentioned. And then my last good episode, not good, there are a lot of good episodes. My last of the favorites, of the top 5 favorites, is going to be Children of Time.
Yay! I'm also glad someone said that one.
Children of Time, where the Defiant visits their descendants, and then fucking Odo.
Fucking
Odo.
Kira, I wanted to know it was me.
Yes.
I will say, just looking at the stuff I'd missed, I'm still fine with what I have. Although, how did I meant to put Trials and Tribulations on there. Oh well.
Is there one that you would even swap?
Little Green Men.
Oh.
Trials and Tribulations just way better.
Do you want to swap them?
Yes, please do.
All right, done. Doing it. Doing it now.
I feel like mine and Jake's list is like basically the same.
So I just write Jake
very
list
close.
twice?
Well, because I was going to say Children of Time, because I love that one. The Voyage Home.
Yay.
City on the Edge of Forever, because obviously. Did we decide that First Contact was a time travel one?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait,
It's
what's
on the
First
list.
Contract?
The film.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
The film. And how about the first Star Trek movie? 2009, that is.
Oh, that thing.
Oh,
That's on the list.
interesting.
I love that movie so much. I know that you don't, Ames, but I love it.
I don't like movies, so.
Oh.
That's a lie, because I think we are sweeping the Voyage Home.
Oh.
Voyage Home sweep! Woo! Because it's fucking excellent. Like, they balance comedy and time travel and sci-fi and character stuff all in this little time travel-y episode.
And Nuclear Vessels.
And Wessels. So my other tops. Another movie. Apparently I don't hate movies. Damn it. First Contact, because I have the
Data.
softest spot for First Contact. Y'all remember it is my favorite of all of the movies. So yeah, obviously.
More like Thirst Contact.
Yeah.
Oh man. Blow on Data's little skin area.
That what he calls it.
It's actually a pretty big skin area, from what I recall.
It's fully functional.
My other tops, I have no other overlap with you guys, because as is typical, I go for like the weird time shit, including the one that we talked a whole lot about today, Relativity. I give you tons of reasons why I love Relativity. 7 does a great job. The other time travel-y episodes I will mention Visionary, where we killed O'Brien like 3 times.
Oh, poor O'Brien.
Just because I love the way that the episode is framed. It's framed in such an interesting way, and it has consequences in real time and in the future, and we see the station explode, and that's just all cool. And my last one I put on my tops list is Before and After, the one where Kes is going back in time, because it's another one that has a very interesting way that they tell the story, because they tell it out of order, and yet in order for Kes, and it's clever as fuck, and it's one of few episodes I really appreciate Jennifer Lean in. So those are my tops.
Yeah, she did a good job in that.
Nice.
Bottoms.
Shit.
Oh,
So
man.
I wasn't ready for this.
You want to go last?
Right away, Assignment Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just a bad episode of Star Trek.
It's not an episode
It
of
isn't.
Star Trek.
I was just going to
No,
say
yeah.
it's not an episode of Star Trek, actually.
Yeah, shit. See, the problem is, like, a lot of these, I had to look them up to be like, which one is that? So
There are a lot.
and just looking at the titles again, I don't remember a lot of them.
Do you need any clarifications?
Ugh, probably all the TNG ones practically. I don't remember what half of
Let
them
me
are.
just tell you what mine are then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep looking,
jump
I'll
in,
come
Jake.
back.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Some of our discussion may jog some memories.
All right, so my bottom
Do it.
starts with Assignment Earth. So we've already mentioned it, but yes,
Shit episode.
It is a shit episode of another series that somehow was aired in
Pretended to be
Star
Star
Trek's
Trek.
time slot. Next up, I'm going to go... Now, this one, I did have kind of trouble with the bottom because it turns out I actually quite like a lot of the time travel
I know.
The
episodes.
thing is, a lot of them aren't necessarily bad. I just don't remember them.
So of all of the ones that might not belong on this list, this is the one. So I'm going to say Time Squared.
Okay.
That's the one where the Enterprise is trapped in like a space whirlpool.
Yeah, that's the double Picard
and
one.
there's
that episode sucked.
Yeah, Picard from 6 hours in the future visits them, but he can't speak. And
Ew,
and it's I just think that episode for like a episode that could have been cool with time travel stuff and people from the future warning you about events.
Definitely stealing that.
It's
one.
just boring as fuck. It's just really boring, not great.
Oh, I put it on your list anyway. So
great. Put it on my list too. That will.
Chris is not going to put this one on his list.
Times Arrow.
Times Arrow.
I'm surprised it wasn't in your top.
Times Arrow Part 2 is on my bottom list.
Well, I'm counting them together because they're equally they work together. And no, not a great. I was gonna say great concept, poorly executed. No, bad concept, executed poorly.
You disliked it completely. Don't lie.
Because it's just like there's things there and there that could have been interesting, but like the Jack London thing.
Oh
and,
no!
And
Remember the name?
Yeah,
that was
Call of the
terrible.
Wild.
and terrible Mark Twain. Like if they didn't, honestly, if they redid that episode and didn't have Mark Twain or Jack London, it might have been better.
Maybe.
I think, but like I think. They drag it very far down because there's some good stuff too in there, like
I like the aliens. I remember
the aliens are interesting. The soul-sucking aliens. Oh, the crew has to pretend to be a traveling Shakespeare troupe.
Oh yeah.
Data dealing with his demise.
Data dealing with his demise. Data pulling a Spock and building something out of bearskins and stone knives and even Guinan I didn't think was bad. So there's a lot of things I did like about the episode, but it's not the things that I disliked about it dragged it way down for me. Next up, another Times Orphan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that the
That's
fucking
baby
Keiko one?
Yeah,
Or
well,
not
Molly
Keiko,
O'Brien
Feral
falls into a time vortex, comes out a feral adult, and it's just not great.
Shit's just depressing.
It's just depressing. I feel like there's some ethical issues with what they do in that episode.
Such ethical issues.
I rewatched that one not too long ago, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, so not great.
Say it ain't so, Miles.
And then I tried to keep all my list of things that we had already seen before because it'd be easier to talk about, but I just could not resist putting the whole fucking entirety of Picard season 2 is the worst fucking time travel. Fucking bullshit.
It is bad.
Yeah, so Picard season 2, worst time travel.
It is pretty bad.
It might be the worst Star Trek. I don't know. We haven't gotten there
Worse
yet.
than TAS?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh.
It's been. I feel like when we get to it, we might have to do some kind of comparative analysis. Because
don't get me wrong, I didn't like it.
TAS was I was surprised though because like TAS. Well, I don't know. We haven't done all the bottoms yet, so I know there's a time travel episode in TAS. I'm curious.
Is it on Chris's list?
I don't know.
It was one of the
You
best.
still thinking?
It was the best episode.
It was the best
TAS.
episode of TAS, which is still not saying much.
No, we actually had this discussion on the way over. Where it was like, there's a TAS one, but fuck that. And Caitlin said, well, probably the best TAS, but you're not wrong. Yeah, I'm still.
All right, Caitlin, do you have some bottoms?
Yeah.
Girl, you know I do. Simon Earth, for reasons that are obvious. Shit, the other one that Jake said, Times Squared or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, the double Picard.
Yeah, not good. I will say all of season 2, or no, sorry, is it the Discovery, the Red Angel shit?
Yes.
Season 2 of Discovery.
Oh yeah, so it is season 2 of Discovery. Hate it. Times Arrow. Very, very bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to say Generations, because very, very bad.
Wow.
I get that. I was considering Generations because it seems like such a cop-out to bring Kirk back. It's forced as fuck.
Yeah, no good.
That's a rare instance of time travel to the future. Because usually when we do time travel episodes, we're going to the past.
Yeah.
Doesn't technically, every season of Discovery count since we've got thrown into the future, or not really?
That would count just the episode when we go to the future.
Well,
because they're not coming
fuck
back.
that Red Angel shit. It makes me so mad. I know we're not there yet, and I'm not going to go on, but I really liked season 1 of Discovery. I really liked it. I liked... Just make a bunch of beeping sounds in here if you can, as if it's spoilers. But
I might just fade out and fade back in, depending on
That's fair.
where this goes.
I'll build off that because the whole Red Angel thing was on my bottom list too, and it's because it's confounding. It's because it makes the whole season confusing and it makes me feel stupid. Like watching Relativity. Going back to our discussion we just had on Relativity. I love that episode because even if it doesn't make sense, it's followable and it makes you feel smart that you followed Seven along. You watch The Red Angel and it rips the fucking rug from under you and says, nope. Major spoiler here. Actually, fuck it. I won't spoil it because it doesn't fucking matter because stupid. Oh, it reveals who the Red Angel is and I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you 9 times. You make me feel like an idiot. Season 2 of Discovery and I hate that. Bad Star Trek.
Just hate the writers, not yourself.
Yeah. I have a couple other overlaps. I also said Picard Season 2 because it was a fucking waste of all this time travel. They set a million things up and then didn't bother with them. And it's really irritating.
Not just a waste of time travel, a waste of
time.
Yes. But like a waste of like good characters like Q and Rios.
Oh yeah.
And Guinan and like just characters that you want. Like how many times did we say during TNG that like Guinan was one of the best characters? You know, recurring guest. She's not in a lot of episodes, but when she's there, it's like something good's gonna happen because fucking Guinan's here. She's a better counselor than Troy. She's a better bartender than Data.
She wears great hats.
She wears great hats and like she's a fucking confidant and like friend of Picard, and you don't see that because like everybody else on the ship is his underling, whereas she's like kind of a peer.
Right.
And like to put her in Picard Season 2 in the way that they didn't I wasn't excited about Guinan, you know?
Well, because it wasn't even really Guinan. Like, I feel like if you're gonna bother, you gotta get Whoopi. Like, how...
Well,
and I know that, like, they would have had to have done a lot of makeup or CG or anything, but...
I mean,
like,
I didn't mind the actor.
Thing.
That didn't bother me all that much, but I don't know. It didn't feel like the same character.
Whoopi Gold... No, that's definitely true. But I also feel like Whoopi brought, like...
Which
the gravitas to the character somehow, which is funny to say about Whoopi Goldberg.
Which you can't even say is like, well, you know, she's younger. Because when we saw her even earlier in Time's Arrow, she wasn't that different from 24th century Guinan. So what happened from 18...
You mean in personality?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Like, what happened between 1880 and 2024 or whatever, that she's suddenly a completely different person.
Here's the thing. I fully believe... Because they tried to hand wave it in like an interview or something, but I fully believe that the writers did not know about Time's Arrow.
Probably not.
Because
well, let's be fair.
No one wants to.
No one wants to. I'm the only person that even likes part 1, and even I hate part 2.
Yeah.
So like the image of Data's head in a mine is one of those images you see a lot. It's like semi-iconic, but the episode it's from is actually not.
Yeah, it's tiring. Which brings me back to my bottoms list. Because Time's Arrow, of course, is on my bottoms list. Y'all know how much I shit on Time's Arrow an awful lot.
You love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Samuel Clemens can get right off my ship, please. Again, a sweep for Assignment Earth. Because it's not Star Trek. It was awful. The other thing, as a time travel episode, there was no fucking reason for the Enterprise to be there other than we wanted to watch. No, you don't. That's a bad idea every time.
That's not what you do.
Morons.
Yeah.
My last one on my bottom list is kind of, I just had to pick one because I couldn't think of another good one, and it's another one where it's like, the reason you're doing this time travel episode, I don't think is a good idea, because it's wrong's darker than death or night.
Yeah,
nothing really against the episode itself, it's just that Kira decides, I want to go back in time to go visit my mom, and then Sisko says, okay, like a fucking fool!
Yeah.
Knowing that Kira will go and break things, knowing that there's no good reason for this.
Was that the one where she, like, gets to see her mom being a
comfort woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Well, I was going to say the other thing that they always call people, people that work with the Cardassians.
Oh, collaborator?
Collaborator, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the word I was looking for, but yeah. Being
both of those things. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to mention that one, just because it feels unearned.
Yeah, but all that Gul Dukat.
There is that.
Being a smarmy piece of shit. You know how we love that, Ames.
Once she's in the past, I'm down with it. It's that there's no fucking reason for it.
She's like, I want to look at the orb of time. All right. Why not?
Fucking thing's dangerous.
So far on Chris's list, we have Assignment Earth and Time Squared. Do you have 3 more bottoms or as many other bottoms as you want to list?
I will say, and this might come as a surprise, anytime the temporal Cold War comes up in Enterprise.
Good. I'm glad you bring that up because I don't know much about the temporal Cold War, except that I know a lot of people hate it.
I enjoy a lot about Enterprise, but the whole, like, they got off on the wrong foot by having the temporal Cold War, and the more they abandoned that storyline, the better. It was dumb, it was needless. Even if it wasn't actually his idea, I blame Rick Berman for signing off on it.
But Stormfront is so much fun.
Which one is that?
I'm pretty sure that's, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's the one...
Is it a Nazi one?
It's the Nazis.
Because Stormfront is a Nazi thing.
That's not the temporal Cold War, though.
I thought it was. I thought it was connected to the temporal Cold War.
Well, okay. They kind of...
Look at them nerds.
Without getting into spoilers, it's kind of a side effect of actually them finally wrapping that storyline up. So,
a byproduct, if you will.
Because wasn't Daniels there?
No.
Oh, you're right. No, he wasn't.
All right, that one is tangentially connected, and that one might actually be okay. But by and large, 99.9% of temporal Cold War stuff is dumb and held the show back.
Yes.
What else we got? What else?
And saddled us with the Enterprise J design.
Oh my god, that's
no.
right. It did. God, I hope that's been undone by something.
Duquesne.
What else?
To the rescue.
How many more do I need?
2. You can leave it at 3 if you want. If you don't want to include more. It'll be a slightly shorter blog post. That's all.
I guess I'll have to agree with like Generations.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. It's dumb. It was just an excuse to have Shatner show up for 20 minutes.
Yep.
15 minutes maybe. 10. Not that much of the film. Which overall is a kind of deeply middling film too.
Just admit it's
Times Arrow Part 2.
Wow. But specifically Part 2.
Specifically Part 2. I remember liking Part 1. I don't remember why. It's been years. But I remember I was like, I loved Part 1 but hated Part 2.
Data is quite cute in Part 1. Part 2 is... It's an
I think
assault on the senses.
There's a lot more Mark Twain in Part 2.
A lot.
Like, there was less of him in Part 1. He's, like, hitting on Deanna. It's weird.
Yeah.
Fuck Part 2.
Great. That's a good list. And you can see that whole list if you haven't been paying attention or wondered, like, wait, did they pick this one or did they just mention this one? They're all up on our Tumblr.
There we go.
sshppodcast.com because, we're in the past right now. But in
the
future, I've put all this up on the Tumblr. You can check it out.
Woo. I've already checked it out in the future.
Nice. Yeah, so that's our blog. We have lots of great blogs up there. Check them all out. It's been a lot of fun. Next week, we're going to have more fun because next week we are wrapping season 5 of Voyager.
Oh my god.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to make more lists. Yay!
So this basically means the end of good Star Trek, no?
There's more good Voyager.
No, I mean, after that, though.
Enterprise has its moments.
We'll eventually get back to Prodigy.
That's it.
I think there's some good.
There is some good Enterprise because every so often for the blog I'll watch an Enterprise episode that's relevant and realize, oh, this one's good.
It's
No, I have faith in Chris's decision.
Here's
I know Chris likes it.
Here's the thing you'll get. Here's the thing you'll get. Enterprise is like the McCoy years of Doctor Who. When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, you die inside. And there's very rarely in between.
Anything in between? Oh, good.
Cool, yeah. So next week, we're still on Voyager, though. We've got 2 more seasons after this, but the episodes next week, we're discussing Warhead and both parts 1 and 2 of Equinox, the season finale and season 6 premiere.
Woo!
Yay.
So keep it here on SoundCloud or whatever podcasting application you like using. To more Stardust Here hereby to listen to those episodes, listen to any of the past ones. We've discussed so much more time travel. Go find all your favorites.
Woo!
With me, Ames.
And me, Caitlin.
And me, Jake.
And me, this is going to will have been Chris, possibly.
I don't even bother with tenses anymore.
Yeah.
That was a Scooby-Doo laugh.
It
What
was.
the fuck was that?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Now
but
you
that
have to keep it.
Yeah.
Shit.